Anyone who has kids at home is sure to have lots of old crayon stubs stuck in the bottom of drawers, closets, etc. Something to consider, other than choosing between leaving them there or getting up the energy to clean them up, is to turn them into candles. This can be a great way to get your kids into putting all of the old crayon stubs into one place to repurpose them, as well as having lots of fun with a creative hobby. Almost every kid will get a thrill in seeing their old crayons turn into creative, beautiful candles. And just imagine the joy they'll get when they turn the finished product into gifts for others. First, a word of caution. You will have to have a serious discussion with your children before you even begin a candle making project. Crayons need a great deal of heat to melt. You'll have to determine if your child is able to deal with the high heat before you start that portion of the process. Once that conversation has been had and a good plan has been laid out, it's time to get organized. In addition to old crayons, you'll need the following: wax cartons. These can be old milk cartons, juice boxes, etc. Paraffin wax, a double boiler, some pencils, and white kitchen string. Let's start by cutting the wax containers at about the 6 inches mark. Then we'll need to make the wick. I think that the best way is to take 3 pieces of string, tie them to the middle of the pencil and braid them just as you would hair. When the string braid is long enough to hang from across the top of the wax container to the bottom, it's long enough. You'll need to give the wick some weight by tying a button or some other small weight to it so that it hangs fairly straight. Now we're going to melt about 3 pounds of the paraffin wax in the double boiler. To help it melt faster, you may want to break it into small chunks. It'll probably take about 15 minutes for the paraffin to completely melt. While you are waiting for the wax to melt, you can be removing all of the paper from the old crayons. It's fun to decide how you want to mix the crayons together. Do you want all one color? Do you want to mix them together and see what shows up? Whatever you decide, just have some fun. Don't add the crayons to the paraffin until the paraffin is completely melted. Then, drop the crayons into the melted wax very carefully to make sure that the wax doesn't splash and burn you or your child. You can decide if you want to stir the colors together or let them remain separate. After the crayons have completely melted and is blended into the paraffin, you can remove the mixture from the stove and begin to pour it into the wax molds. Again, be very cautious. Hot wax will give severe burns. If you'd like to try scented candles, you can add food extracts such as vanilla or cinnamon to the melted mix. Once you've filled your containers, it's very important that you do not touch or move them for several hours. The wax will stay hot and dangerous for quite a while. When the container feels cool to you, it's time to peel the wax carton away and trim the wick. Peeling the wax carton away can be almost like opening a present. What's inside can be a joy. Making candles out of old crayons is a great way to spend time doing crafts with your children.